What's up, folks? Welcome back to the Eagle's Nest. So, quick little update on the Rim-X action, and I just got the new extractors in from Zermatt Arms. So, just got back from doing some testing with this thing, and by far, this for sure has fixed the problem. So, let me show you guys the extractor upgrade and the differences. And if you guys are having issues with the Zermatt Arms Rim-X action, this is probably the fix for you. So for those that follow my channel, you do know that I manufacture rifles and I run the company Desert Precision Gunworks, where we manufacture a lot of custom rifles. So here's another Rim-X action that has the older style extractor, and the difference of it, I'll show you guys here. Get this bolt to come out. You can see that the bolt head itself is a little bit discolored. So there's other differences as well. We'll go over that in a little bit, but the biggest indication that you probably have the older extractor and the older tensioner is the primary extractor being discolored. Now, talking to Ray from Zermatt Arms, or Zermatt, they basically did a material change. So let's take a look at the older extractor that I pulled out of this firearm and see exactly what the difference is. Alright, so on the left here I have the older extractor that came out of that Rim-X action on the previous video, and on the right here I have the new extractor parts and the tensioner parts as well. So the two biggest differences that I noticed is, for one, looking at the tensioner spring, I could definitely tell that the new spring on the right here has more tension. So what this does, this thing actually sits behind the extractor itself. This is what they consider the tensioner. Sits in here like this with a detent behind there. You can actually see that here on this bolt. So it's very easy to take off. I'll show you guys how you do that in a little bit. But there is definitely a noticeable difference on both the tension and the overall length of the spring itself. The profile of the tensioners themselves are actually the same from what I could tell, and the detents, dowel pin detents, are exactly the same. Now the next thing I noticed as well is the actual extractor. Now, as you can tell, they're definitely different material, but I actually tested this with a cartridge here, and this was the problem with the older extractor. It was not able to get inside the rim here and hold. As you can tell, it just pops right off really easy. So the newer extractors, I'll show you guys here this, there's definitely a different profile where you could definitely feel it bite, and it holds onto the rim, and I can actually push down on this and it doesn't want to pop off. So that is that. You can definitely tell that this is, by far a better profile. So I can't even pull it out of the cartridge unless I really pry on it, and this is basically what holds on to the rim of the actual 22. Whereas the older extractor, and I thought I damaged this with the testing I was doing, because that is very possible. If you were to single feed these actions aren't meant to be single fed. You could pretty much shear off the points like here, like this extractor, where you lose the profile. And as you can tell, it is not biting at all. Now, like I said, I do have another action that has the older extractor, and I'll remove this from this action as well, just to see if there's any damages done to this extractor from the other rifle. So the Rim-X action, the bolt itself is very easy to disassemble. You're basically going to turn it until you line up the notches while you're pulling, and it'll come right in half just like that. So here's the complete bolt head itself. And looking at the extractor, to take it off, primary extractor, is a set screw, basically a Allen screw. I don't know what size it is. I pretty much had to make my own. You want a really nice tight fit, because some of these are pretty much in there. So you get the Allen screw fitted nice and snug. Make sure you got a good bite to it, and it should just pop right off like that. So you don't have to take it all the way off. It basically, like I said, is just like a detented set screw, and as soon as you get it loose enough, it will basically allow you to slide it right out. So that's the primary extractor. Now I have a new but older style extractor. Let's see if there's any damages done to this extractor that was on the previous rifle, and give it a profile test here. Yep, I could definitely feel it. It bites a little bit more. Still is able to slip off a little bit, but it is biting. You can see there, and I could push it just like the new style extractor. So maybe it got sheared off or damaged when testing. Here it looks like it got sheared a little bit, because like this one has no bite at all. So that's the reason why it was slipping off. As you can see there, it goes in there, clean all the crud out of there, and it still slips right off. So the new but older style extractor looks like it has the same profile, and this one right here got damaged a little bit. So we're going to replace it anyway. We're going to update it. And when you call Zermatt Arms, ask for the newer style extractor and the tensioner and tensioner spring. They'll give you the pretty much complete set. So you get the Allen plug here. Definitely recommend some blue Loctite or something to keep this Allen plug from slipping off. Go ahead and put that on the bolt itself, and like I said, put a little bit of blue Loctite. So I'm just going to set this for now, get it in there, and get ready for the tensioner. So like I said, the biggest update, it seems that I could tell for sure, is the tensioner spring. How you remove that, you want to get yourself a pick, and right here on the back of the bolt itself, you can see the plunger. You're going to want to basically push down. Just remember, it is under spring pressure, so keep a finger right here on the front just in case. And you want to go ahead and slide and push down on that little plunger. And while you're doing that, go ahead and roll out the extractor. It's basically start prying. So you're going to push down. So I'm going to do this on camera here without making a rocket projectile. So we'll go here, push down, get the pick underneath the finger of the extractor itself, and pry up. And you'll notice it roll. It rolls right out, and you should be able to take that and remove it. After that, obviously, you get the pick in there, remove the, let's see, the plunger. Let's make sure we don't mix up these parts here, and then the spring. So all the new parts in my hand. Let's make sure we don't mix those up. Spring goes in first, detent, and then how to reinstall the tensioner itself, or the claw. Pretty simple. Get it started in there, and all you have to do is roll it in. So get your bolt, and pretty much just put it face flat on a table like so, and basically just roll it in. Oh, always on camera. It's actually a lot simpler than what it looks like. Get it on there, put it on the table, push down, and roll it in. You'll hear it click. Then you just want to make sure that it's actually seated right here on the flat part of the actual claw itself. So not on the back side, but the flat part there. And there we go. Updated bolt. Reassembly is very simple. Find the firing pin and slide it in place. Make sure you got the right orientation. Don't force anything in. After that, find the groove and then turn the bolt. And there you have it. So let's give this thing a try. I'll show you guys basically downrange, the update, and the reliability, as well as how it ejects. Okay, so we got 10 rounds loaded up here, and previously what was happening with this action, and we'll simulate that right now, is when I chamber around, this chamber I have here is basically slightly engraving the bullet, and when I go to unchamber it and extract it, it slips over the rim of the cartridge. So let's give that a test first. Let's put this on safety first. Chamber around, you'll see that it has kind of a slight engraving. You can feel right there, engraving the bullet. And let's try to see if you can extract it. Yep, and you can see that thing launches. I mean, it launched, I say a good 4 or 5 feet. Let's try another one here. Engraving the bullet. And shoot. So right then and there's definitely a difference in how it extracts. Let's go ahead and give it a couple shots here at 50 yards and kind of run it pretty fast. Let me just go pretty quick here. And it's shooting the cartridges out at like 130. I'm running pretty hard. And there you go. So there is a huge difference on how this thing extracts. Let me go ahead and load up a few more cartridges here. Okay, so let's give it a try here. I'm going to operate the bolt like I usually do. Yeah, it's kicking the cartridges a lot different. Everything's going about 130. And oh, that one's stuck a little bit, but yeah, definitely it's definitely gripping these rims a lot better. So I did get a few Rim-X's in that came from different manufacturers, guys that probably put together the barrels or pretty much assemble these rifles. And I'm not going to put any names out there because I'm not here to badmouth any company. So these clients ended up purchasing these rifles from these manufacturers, and what the manufacturer ended up doing was basically buying a pre-fit barrel and assembling the rifle. Well, when they went back to the manufacturers and explained that they're having a failure to feed, failure to eject, pretty much failure to fire, light primer strikes, I mean, you name it, anything the possibility could happen wrong on the action was happening to them. They were telling them that the wait times were excessive, 6 months plus, even though they waited over 8 months for the rifle. So unexcusable. So I really understand where these guys are coming from. They were pretty upset. They saw that I was doing some Rim-X actions and building them, and they reached out to me. So they sent the rifles over to me, and I went and duplicated exactly what they're having. So within the first 5 shots, I was having the same thing. The cartridge was, when you go to feed it, was going in front of the bolt, and then when you go to close it down, obviously it locks up. And like I mentioned, the Rim-X action is a control round feed, so you really can't be single feeding these things, or you will be damaging the extractor or the tensioner, like I mentioned. So it came in here, did some testing, had all kinds of issues, did some measurements, ended up finding out that for one of the barrels, the back of the barrel itself, where it needs to be flat on the breech end, where there is a cone, there's a taper, and that is actually for debris clearance. So these Rim-X actions, when you build the barrels, you have a 10-degree cone, which is meant for debris and clearances and wax to bleed off. But that flat breech face needs to be at minimum 20 thousandths over the diameter of the rim. So one of the barrels did not have enough breech face of being flat. Thus, the extractor just was barely holding on to the rim itself. And 2, they had excessive clearance. Now, when you put these barrels together and put the barrel on the action, the actual face of the bolt itself needs to be butted up with 0 clearance, meaning it has a little bit of tension. So if you can see this bolt doesn't just flop down. It actually has a little bit of tension because the bolt itself has some squish. It's a free-floating bolt head, just like a Savage. The bolt face itself needs to be butted up against the breech face of the barrel with a little bit of resistance. So that was that was both those actions that I've gotten in had excessive clearance. I used a feeler gauge, and one had 3 thousandths of clearance and the other one had 4, or I think 5 thousandths. Now that's quite a bit. When you're talking about a 22 rimfire, clearances on headspace are very, very tight. It's got to be dead nuts, and that does affect accuracy. From my testing, chambering these barrels, 1/1000th of chamber measurement, basically running the reamer down, 1/1000th changed the accuracy from 3/4 of an inch to just underneath 1/4 of an inch. So, you know, these 22 rimfires, I'm still learning. I'm not the best. This is the reason why I choose to take all my rifle builds that I make and test them downrange. For 1, reliability, and 2, obviously accuracy. Well, folks, hope you guys enjoyed this little update on the Rim-X. And if you guys are having issues with the Rim-X, definitely check out that extraction. And you know, with all the pointers I pointed out in this video, give it a test. Now, if you still have issues with that, you could go ahead and contact me at dpgunworks.com. Send the action in, or the barreled action, and we'll go ahead and take a look at it and see what we come up with. So the customer service at Zermatt Arms speaks top-notch quality. You give them a call, they'll definitely take care of you. So if you have a Rim-X action that's having some of these issues, don't go ahead and blame the rifle manufacturer right away. Definitely give Zermatt Arms a call first. They can kind of give you tips and pointers to figure out what exactly is the issue, and if it is a barrel, then go ahead and send it back to your manufacturer. Other than that, if you have an extraction issue or ejection issue, any of that, they'll definitely take care of you, send you some new parts if needed. So that speaks volumes of customer service. Giving them a call, they'll actually troubleshoot with you. They're very easy to talk to. So like I said, huge shout out to them. Also, Ray from the X-Ring channel, check out his video. I'll put a link in the description below. He just did a reliability test on his Rim-X action that I just built for him, and it seems to be running well. So I'll put a link in the description below on that. So for the folks that have placed an order for a Rim-X action, a barreled action, or a rifle build through Desert Precision Gunworks, don't worry, you guys saw that big baggie of parts. I will be updating all of your actions to the new style Extractor, and obviously I will be testing your rifle downrange for reliability and accuracy as well. So don't worry about that. Like I said, I got you taken care of. So guys, you guys take care out there. There's always more videos coming up. Stay tuned, stick around for those. I'll catch you on the next video. Thanks for watching.